Hello everyone. Welcome to a very unexpected video. So this video is being replaced, or excuse me, it is replacing today's Let's Play. I was going to release this on Wednesday since today's Let's Play video was recorded a week ago, but I decided to release this on Monday instead because I wanted this video to be closer to when the announcement came. So basically what has happened is on Saturday, April 20th, I guess. Yeah. The Fun Pimps announced that Alpha 22 basically is no more. Instead, it's going to be the official full release of 1.0. Now, what actually changes because of this? Well, spoiler alert, only one thing, but basically absolutely nothing. The only thing that actually will change is essentially the price. Once 1.0 goes live, or Alpha 22, the price for the PC version will be $45 instead of $25, and the console version will also be, the new console version will be $45 as well. So, with that said, we're going to quickly go through this video. Well, okay, I lied. We're not going to quickly go through this video. We're going to go through this video as quickly as I can. So, basically, what is going on? If you want to read the frequently asked questions, go ahead. I'm just going to kind of skip the points that are more or less irrelevant. But basically, the gist of it is they're just changing the word alpha for version 1.0, and then it'll eventually be version 1.1. The actual development of the game is not changing in the least. The timeline, everything. The only thing that changed, technically, other than the price, is they now have an official roadmap, which we will see. Other than that, there's essentially no difference. Instead of being called alphas now, it's going to be called version 1.0, etc. So, other than that, there's not much really here. What does it mean for Alpha 22, etc.? Nothing. There will still be experimental builds for each update, but of course that will only be on PC. That will not be on console. You'll be able to access older alphas. They're working on the Kickstarter goals. The 7 Days to Die Apocalypse Edition, apparently that was going to be the console name. They were going to actually put that on there. I don't know why. They decided against it instead. It's just being called the console version. Here's the roadmap. And basically, this is if I'm being completely honest, I think the only reason they're officially taking it out of alpha is because the criticisms they've got. Because if you look here, it's literally no different than what they've been telling us for years now. They keep saying, we're going to release it officially, we're going to release, and then they never do. And when you look at this, the whole point of alpha is to be feature complete. And if you see, Q4 of next year is when the story mode is officially coming. Bandits aren't coming until next year, mid next year. I don't know about you, but those are two major features that were supposed to be in the game. And you're going to tell me the story isn't even going to be in it, quote, official release? Yeah. I this is one of those things where, yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Fun Pimps, but I'm not buying this. We wanted to really, whatever. I don't care what their supposed reason is. And I'm not criticizing them. I think this is probably a smart idea from their perspective, because now you can't say, well, they've been in alpha for 10 years. Well, but again, other than the price change, literally nothing is changing. These are all still things that they said were coming, and obviously the only real difference is they're giving an estimate, which we know the Fun Pimps. You can add a year on each one of these more than likely. But here's the part that's really interesting, and really took me by surprise. Apparently, and there's a 5-minute video from one of the co-founders that if you go to the Fun Pimps official YouTube page, which is called The Fun Pimps, you can watch the 5-minute video where they explain what's coming, or what the changes are and all that. Now, the thing I found very interesting is apparently Alpha 22, which again technically doesn't exist, it's just going to be called 1.0. I figured at this point, since they still haven't said anything about it, that the earliest we could expect it was September, maybe. But apparently, the experimental is supposedly, and it's like everything else. He says in the video, we are hoping for the PC experimental. There will never be a console experimental. He does, or not, I don't think he said it, but it says it here in this fact. The experimental versions will only ever be on PC. Now, he basically said that it's going to be coming, the experimental is going to be coming in late May. It's only a month away. That's insane. I would have thought like, the experimental would come in like September. Now, of course, it hasn't released yet, so grain of salt and all that. Now, one thing he mentioned is, and it's disappointing, but I'm not really surprised. The console version was supposed to launch day and date. Now, they didn't say that specifically, but they heavily implied that it was going to be day and date with the PC version. We now know that's not true. What's going to happen is after the stable, not experimental, the stable release of the PC version, a couple of weeks, he said later, the new console version will release. The reason for that, he says, is because of certification. For anybody that doesn't know, when you release something on console, it has to go through a lengthy certification process through Microsoft and, I almost said Nintendo. Nintendo too, but not in this case. Microsoft and Sony. That's why it's going to take several weeks. They're not going to submit the final or the patch of an experimental build to Sony and Microsoft because there's no point until it goes, quote, stable. There's no point even submitting the patch. So that's basically what's happening. At least that's my understanding. I could be wrong. So here's the thing that I think is interesting. Some of the things that were supposed to be in Alpha 22 have now been pushed back. For example, the wardrobe system, it says clothing overhaul and then it says wardrobe system. Now there is a difference, but I'm guessing the wardrobe system is maybe the new player. No, see, because it says character system. I'm not really sure. I know what they are, but I'm not really sure what the difference is. Anyway, for the 1.0 launch, they've completely redone vehicle assets, new animals, new gore systems for zombies, zombie variants. Now this new challenge system. Don't know what that is, but that sounds awesome. New props, road decals, POIs, upgraded visual effects, graphics upgrades, optimization, random gen improvements, updated controller support. I don't know what that means, but I'm happy for that. Plus other updates not listed here. Q4 of this year, they're going to do, and again, this is all stuff they've already announced, but was coming in the future. They just didn't give a date because it wasn't in the current alpha. The weather system and biome progression overhaul, wardrobe system, crossplay for random gen and random gen for consoles. We'll get to that. Plus additional zombie stages, spawn near friend, Twitch drops, outfit DLCs, and much more. And again, as always, they say rough estimates subject to change. Then some nebulous year in the future, bandits, a new UI main menu overhaul, an event system, new quest type, and then after I'm dead, the road ahead will be trader overhaul, story mode, Steam Workshop support, and another new quest type. So very cool stuff, but again, what's actually changing, literally just the numbers is, I don't know if it's still going to say like up in the top corner version 1.0 or not, but basically Alpha 22 is dead. There's not going to be a 22. It's going to just be called version 1.0. Now, price change, for anybody that doesn't know and before anybody goes with pitchforks, it is 100% normal for an early access game to be cheaper than the official release. That's how they get you in. They hook you in. And if you've already bought the game, you don't have to pay anything more. That's part of being part of early access. You get a discount by buying the game early. Now, for those that are interested and are still on the fence, they're doing another sale starting next week. I believe it's like April 22nd or something. Yeah, there it is, April 22nd to 29th. So they're gonna give another discount on the current PC. This is only for PC, of course. Instead of paying 25, you pay, I think it's 76% or 75%. Basically, you can get the game for like $6. So if you've been thinking about getting it, you better get it now. Otherwise, you're going to be paying $45, which honestly, considering new games even on PC are 60 to 70 and same for console, at full release, that's still a friggin' steal. Now, it mentions, what if you've already, you already own it? What's going to happen? Nothing. You've already bought it. You own it. You're not going to have to pay some sort of difference or anything. Now, they mentioned why increase the cost. That's because that's completely normal. Now, also, of course, if you already own the game or you buy it, you will get all free updates, etc. And apparently now they're looking at possibly adding DLC and expansions, which they said in the past they weren't going to do, but they might. Well, apparently now they're considering it. Now, as for support, people want to know, well, originally or lately they've been saying that they're only going to support the game for about a year after official release. They've now changed that. In the video, the co-founder, Rick, says they're going to support it until the game is no longer popular, basically. So, indefinitely. The new console. What does it mean for the console release? Basically, they're going to release it a few weeks after the launch of stable PC. That's it. At launch, the console version will not be crossplay with the PC version. However, they are going to add it in a couple of weeks or maybe months after launch. What about the old console version? If you still own it, you'll be able to play it, but you will no longer be able to buy it. It is being delisted, and it's so that people don't get confused about which version to buy. They're still working on trying to get a discount for those that own the old console version, but they still don't have an answer. And I'm just being honest here. I don't see it happening. Please be wrong, but I just don't, don't get your hopes up. If they haven't worked something out with Sony and Microsoft by now for a discount, I just don't see it happening. The old console version is being delisted, but you can still download it and play it. You just won't be able to buy it anymore. Obviously, your saves on the old console version are not compatible. It's a totally different game. Makes sense. The new console edition will always be up to date and will have parity with the PC version, so you'll never have to worry about it getting falling behind like it used to. Will there be modding support for console? Now, this took me by surprise. There are no concrete plans yet, but they are looking into possibly allowing mods, and it's basically dependent on how the performance works out. So, thumbs up. Again, I don't see it happening, but please be wrong in this case. There will be no split screen for the console versions, and it's just because as powerful as the new consoles are, they're good. Obviously, they're not a PC. They just can't handle it. Understandable. Are there plans for future consoles or ports? Not yet. Not right now. There will not be a physical edition of the game on console for now. Maybe in the future. So for now, it's going to be digital only. Will there be any limitations between console and PC? There will not be any in the future, but for the moment, you will not on console, only on console. At launch, you will not be able to make a random gen world. That's coming in the future. They are adding it, so don't freak out. I honestly find this very bizarre, but apparently it's not a thing. But it will come in a patch soon after launch. So for the launch of the console version, you'll have Navezgane and a few pre-generated maps just like on PC. So what are you going to do? Now, the level prefab editor and world editor, nobody that understands console should be surprised. That's not going to be on the console edition. And that's basically something that modders mostly use. So it makes sense that it's not available. At launch, you won't be able to basically, there won't be any servers for the game. It'll basically be a person-to-person or peer-to-peer game. So if you want to play multiplayer, you can. You just won't be able to use a server on console. Only at launch. They're going to add stuff. And you can see, we intend to release crossplay in Update 1, barring any certification requirements or technical hurdles, which, not a big deal. Now, as for any other differences, basically in the future, they say here that they will add a document in the future that details any other specific differences in performance, online capabilities, hosting features, and more. So for now, no differences between console and PC, but if there are, for any reason, they will put up a frequently asked question. Thank you for all the things, maker usage. Okay, and that is basically it. So, very, very cool stuff, very interesting. I'm looking forward to it, but I do find it funny. I think, as I said, the only reason they're releasing they're officially releasing it is to basically shut up the critics, basically. And some people are going to go, oh, they're doing it to make more money. No shit, Sherlock. Of course they're going to make more money. But they've already made well over $100 million on this game, at least. If they've sold 14 million copies, if it was $10 a copy, and spoiler alert, it wasn't, that's $140 million. Now, obviously, Steam takes their 30% and blah, blah, blah. This game has made an insane amount of money. Insane. So, yes, they can always use more, but I'm pretty sure that's not their main motivation. It's just so people leave them alone about the alpha thing. So I hope you guys are looking forward to this. I know I am. Definitely to me, some significant surprises about the console version. Very surprised it's not going to be coming at launch, but then when I thought about it, and that's like, yeah, obviously, they can't submit the experimental version to Sony and Microsoft. They have to release the stable version, so it makes sense that it'll probably be a couple of weeks. But even then, big if, the console version releases in July, that's still months ahead of what I thought even the PC version would. So, with that said, I don't believe there's anything else that I really want to go over. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. And if they've mentioned it and I've possibly forgotten it here, and oh, here's the video. We're not going to watch it, but it's basically 5 minutes long. You can watch it on the official website, or you can go to their, as I said, their YouTube channel. But yeah, this definitely was unbelievably surprising. So yeah, I'm just going to reiterate. The new version price will be $45 for both the console and PC. And for those that don't know, console games in this generation, PS5, Xbox Series, a lot of games are going for 70 and some for 60. So offering a console version for $45, that's the same as PC, that is insanely cheap. I was hoping it was going to be 30 or 40, but that was before an official release, which the reason it was $30 on the old console version, for those that aren't aware, is because it wasn't a full title. It was still technically experimental, but consoles don't recognize experimental or alpha builds on console. That's why it was never called an alpha. It was just called version. So I'm sure there's going to be somebody that's going to have an absolute friggin' stroke that they're raising the price $15 on console. Yeah, I'm sorry, but since they're going to official release, I'm absolutely gobsmacked that they're not charging 60 or 70. Now, if you're curious why, Rick mentions in the video that the main reason, the main reason why they're keeping the price the same on both PC and console is because they didn't want there to be what he called a barrier to entry, a difference in barrier to entry, which basically means if you're trying to decide which version to get, well, if one is $60 and one's $45, most people, if they have the option, they're not going to go with the 60. They're going to go with the 45, which makes sense. And they don't want people to have to choose which version to buy based on price. So I think it's kind of silly, to be honest, to charge only $45. But, I mean, I'm not going to say nothing if you ain't. I'll happily take $45. I cannot stress enough how cheap that is in today's gaming for a full release, especially with a game of this quality. Yeah, it's not AAA, but you could always buy something like Skull and Bones, which is a quadruple A. Anyway, that's going to be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little video and preview. And like I said, I apologize for kind of bumping today's Let's Play video to Wednesday, but I really, really wanted to get this out. And so, yeah, super, super exciting news. We learned quite a bit. And as I said, if there's anything you don't know or don't understand, please feel free to leave a comment or something and ask. And if I can answer it, I happily will. So until then, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe. And of course, as always, I will see you all in the next video.